My name is Ian Walsh. This is the Moment Money Matters, Hard Money Bankers with Nathan Krauthamer. Thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate having you.
Thanks for having me, Ian.
Nathan, the always entertaining. If you don't follow him on Facebook, you're doing yourself a disservice. I actually think the first video, no, I met you at Ring originally. I met you at a Ring meeting. We were chatting and stuff, an interesting background. But then the next time I saw you, you were doing that spoof on George Beatty with the orange. I I literally could talk to everybody in this industry that follows you. I'll bring that video up and everybody remembers it. It was just like the funniest video. But you got to know George and you got to know you to understand it. But anybody who had a slight inkling of it, it was hysterical. So we all got a good
Quick
laugh.
on my toes. Quick on my toes, Ian.
Yeah. So, so guys, we're talking about Nathan self-managing his properties. The guy's got 150 leased units. He knows what he's doing. He's got a very good approach, very simple approach he simplified the approach. There's nothing simple. People tend to overcomplicate it. And you said, this is what it is. I'm going to simplify it. I'm going to change a few numbers. Some of those tips were in the prior video we did. But let's just say like somebody's watching this that's like trying to get after it, trying to get to your level. What are some bumps and things and pitfalls they've got to avoid to, some catastrophic moments they can have if they don't see it coming, to get to that level? Because you're dealing with big financing, big money, things that you have to deal with that it's not like having one rental where, hey, I got a $600 a month rental. Like, you could be writing big checks every month to make sure your cash flow is right. So what are some pitfalls that people could avoid?
Pitfalls that people can avoid. Yikes, that's a good question. I think buying the right property is really important. I think getting something that makes sense and you're going to make money on. A lot of people I see buy stuff where it's just I could tell it's not going to work like right when they buy it.
Mm-hmm.
But I just kind of see it. I've sold people a lot of properties that I didn't want, and I could tell that it might not work out for them, and a lot of times it doesn't.
Got that George Beatty mentality. Just wholesale, baby. Just sell it.
It's just like I think some properties, some stuff in neighborhoods that aren't the greatest, where it's hard to find a good tenant. That's a little bit of a problem I've noticed. That like if you buy a house with, I bought a place for $10,000 and I put like 8,000 into it, and I was in it for like 18 grand, and it had 2 units, a duplex that rented for like $600 each, right?
Perfect. Okay.
It sounds good,
Right.
but like the amount of evictions you have, like the amount of times that people don't pay you, it's hard to make money doing it, So it's like I try and stay away from some of the really low end stuff. I think that's something that some people can do it, and I have a lot of lower end units, but I'm careful. Like if I'm buying something in Chester or like Darby, I'm careful not to be in certain areas.
Sure.
Philadelphia. I have a couple units in Philadelphia that just stink. They're in parts of the city that aren't good. So I still have probably 5 or 10 units that I wish maybe I didn't own.
So I would say takeaway from that would be as you're growing, like, and I get it. I used to see it all the time. Obviously, you've grown out of it, but like, New York investors come down, they buy something in Kensington, Philly, or not old Kensington, like, the tougher parts of Kensington, buy it for like 5G, and they think, oh, 5 grand, it's gonna make money. Put 10 grand into it, you're in it for 15. I've seen this a million times, and just like you got to know if you can handle or want to handle, not can handle, want to handle that style of management. I also know a guy that does that. One of the guys I used to wholesale to, that's his style. That's what he does. He got 25 units, doesn't pay more than like 20 grand all in for these things, but that requires a certain like threshold of like, do I want to deal with this? Like, on paper it may sound good, but like you just said, you're like, it's not worth it, and it's hard to make money on it. The turnovers, the problems. You're wearing a bulletproof vest, so that's the way it goes, right? I'm sure those blocks are tough blocks that you're talking about, right?
Yeah, I think another thing is also, buying something, at the right price that's going to cash flow and really actually make money. Sometimes people buy something and they think they're going to make, $350 a month.
Mm-hmm.
But then once they factor in like maintenance, vacancy, an eviction here and there, a turnover here and there, it's really not a moneymaker at all.
Nah. That's I always stick by the rule. The national average is like 45 to 50% of expenses, so your principal and interest should be 45 to 50% of your rent. So your $800 rent, your principal and interest shouldn't be more than $400. And you go, oh, I'm making $400 a month. Like, no, you're not. just like you said, there's all those costs, vacancy, gas time, evictions, all that stuff adds up.
Yeah.
And when you self-manage, you can cut a lot of those costs and maybe make a couple extra bucks for sure. But like those, what you just said is so important. I mean, I guess the stupid adage, not, it's definitely not stupid, it's very smart, which is you make your money when you buy. The only problem is people don't understand what that means until they bought already. And you're saying you've already sealed your grave when you buy your property. Good or bad, you've already dug your grave. You just don't know it yet. So that's a really good tip, and I think that's it probably to this day, right? That's how you buy. Like you know,
I mean, it kind of is, but at the same time, like I've thought about it, and some of the best properties that I own now are the few that I've actually paid like retail price for.
Oh,
So
really? You paid
yeah,
retail?
yeah, maybe I bought it because it was like I really wanted it. I knew that neighborhood was going to get really good one day.
Okay, I had the appreciation.
Something about it, like I bought it and then I added a lot of value by fixing it, but I bought it for what it was worth at the time. Um, because most properties I buy them because they're at a deep discount.
Right.
I might figure it out later. But the ones that I bought for what they were worth at the time I bought them, like looking back, it's like, man, that was a really good deal. You know, it's like,
So disclaimer on that to anybody listening. The reason Nathan can pull that off or do that is because he knows his market so well. Like you've got to know what you're looking at. The gold nugget in there was like you're in an area that you probably know has a serious potential to boom. It's not the majority of your portfolio. Like if people go out and try to pull that off, like you can't. You got to know the market like Nathan before you start trying that kind of.
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think normally like buying something and being able to refi it, you know, and get all your money back is pretty important.
Mm-hmm.
I think especially if you're buying rentals, buy it, refi, get all your money back. You know, get a good loan from a bank on it, and then hopefully it's still going to cash flow well. You're going to pay down your debt over time. Maybe it's in a neighborhood that's going to go up in value.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some stuff I buy is in areas that's going to go up in value. Other things I buy, it's probably not going to go up in value, but it's just cash flowing, and I'm going to slowly pay down the debt.
Gotcha. And you're pretty. I mean, but it's. I guess it's also second nature to you at this point, right? Like you just know what kind of deal you're getting into, and I guess if you're starting out or you're trying to get to that level, like you probably want to have a defined direction with what you're doing, right? Like you can make those moves because you could. I know you've done some huge flips and stuff. You bought some big projects, but like you have the awareness to do that. Wouldn't advise somebody starting out to buy it. I mean, you got a 52 unit retail complex. That's not your first buy for most people, I don't think.
Yeah, but it's easy to tell. I mean, you could go buy like a rental in Delco and be all into it for 60,000,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, hopefully it's going to cash flow really well because it's probably not going to go up in value that much.
Right.
But
Right.
if you're buying something on some fringe neighborhood in Philly that you think's going to go up in value, I mean, maybe it's okay to you know break even on your rents and not make any money every month. Maybe make $100 or $200, but you think in 10 years that $80,000 property is going to be worth 250.
Where are you doing that right now? You got any good areas that you like? I mean, everybody went to Brewery Town, Point Breeze. Everybody pulled that move. Fishtown blew up, right? So, what do you
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I mean, a lot of the, I mean, as of right now, I mean, yeah, where that building is, I think, you know, that I just did like 3 blocks north of Frankfurt and Lehigh. I personally think it's gonna jump over. It's already kind of jumping over Frankfurt and Lehigh, so it's getting really built up all the way from Girard Avenue to Lehigh. It's kind of like completely booming that whole Frankfurt Avenue corridor.
Yep.
So soon it's going to jump over Lehigh. I'm pretty confident in that happening. It's already starting to happen.
That's a perfect. But you, I mean, you. I understand what you're saying. So it's just gonna, the wave is gonna come through the building and keep going, and then the building is right in the middle of all the.
Yeah, I mean, it happened on Girard Avenue. I mean, I saw it happen, you know, when they built the Piazza
Mm-hmm.
on Second and Girard. At the time, there was not any development on the other side of Girard, and now it's like, you know, there's thousands of houses. I mean, that was in, like, I think December 2006 when they started building the Piazza, and then it just like boomed and went across. And the same thing happened, I guess, on Washington Avenue in South Philly. Like that used to be like kind of a dividing line.
That was for sure. That was, yeah. That was like a big
I mean,
one back in the day.
now it's like, now it's not even. I mean, now like South Philly is, you know, the place to be.
Yeah, that's hip. So cool. So let's talk about what we'll do is I'll wrap the video up, but I wanted to go back to that. You have a grand opening on January 26th for that building you were just talking about. So, right, January 26th.
January 26th, yeah.
So where is it, and how do people get in contact with you if they want to go?
The building is at 2930 Jasper Street. it would be nice to have an idea of how many people are coming. So hopefully people don't just like randomly show up. Like, hey, I saw you on MySpace with Ian Walsh.
Yeah.
So I guess they can shoot me an email, Nathan@ahomerentals.com. That's probably the best way to get me. Again, Nathan@ahomerentals.com. If you're interested in coming out, it's a cool building. There's going to be a lot of people there, and maybe it'll be the home of somebody's next office. I mean, the offices there are really nice. They're like awesome, loft style, huge windows. I mean, it's just a really cool building.
Just a cool building. So yeah, when you guys show up to that, RSVP to Nathan, so not too many people show up. And if you're watching this apparently on MySpace, you guys know it's Ian, IAN at hardmoneybankers.com. We'll catch Nathan on Masters of the Market.